So the making of this dress, it was a bit challenging, but it worth it though. So I'm so happy that I'm going to show you how I recreate the pattern. We are going to draft the basic body pattern, the upper bodies and the A-line skirt, okay? So a big shout out to Angie who recommended this dress to me and also made a suggestion on how I should work on the front by making it as overlapping. So if this is something that you're interested, you want to make this dress for yourself, so I will advise you to stay with me. So let's get into it. So I have my basic body that I have already gone ahead to draw it off camera. Nothing serious. We don't really need this, but the only thing I just want to explain something to you, okay? So this is my bust line and this is my under bust line, okay? Why I'm making this line here is because I want you to pay attention on something. To get your half length, if you don't know it, you need to mark 1.5 inches below, okay, to get your half length. My bust under bust line is 12.5, okay, and then I mark 1.5 from the under bust line to get my half length. So this line here, I'm going to name it half length, okay? So I'm going to label it half length. So, and you also know that the dress has a band separate, okay? So the band is separate, so the upper body is joined to the band and also the skirt also joined to the band, okay? So the width of my band is 3 inches. So that is why I mark 3 inches here, okay? So when I'm going to calculate the length of my skirt and when I'm going to minus my skirt, I also need to put this thing into consideration, the band, okay? So this is my band, this is my half length, okay? So I will be cutting my band separate and my half length is going to be separate, right? So from my shoulder to my half length is 14 inches in total, right? So now I'm going to place my tape from my upper bodies, though the paper is not long enough, but we are going to get another paper to create our skirt. I'm just making it this as to explain to you something. So my skirt length is my dress length is 35 inches. So when I join from the shoulder to the band total is 17 inches. My half bodies is 14 inches. My band is 3 inches, so the total is 17. So 17 minus 35 minus 17 is 18 inches, okay? So I just have to calculate it though, so that will be on the safe side, all right? So now let's draft our pattern for skirt, okay? So most people use a circular form to create an A-line shape, okay? But I'm just going to show you another easiest way that you can just do instead of just doing a circular form, right? So I'm going to start by creating my starting point here, which is going to become my waistline, okay? In this video, on this pattern rather, I'm going to also include my band. So I need to explain something to you, but let me just minus my half length first, okay? So I made a mistake by placing my half length at 13.5 inches instead of 14. So, but then again, it didn't affect my dress because I later corrected it. So I marked 3 inches below for the space of my band, okay? So I'm going to also continue place the half length of my dress. That is I was supposed to place it at 17 inches instead of 16.5. So I'm just calculating the length from my waist to my hip line. So from the waist to my hip line is 7 inches. So from my shoulder to my hip line is supposed to be 24 inches, but because of the mistake I did, is 23.5 inches. So I repeat this measurement here so that I can have a straight line. So this is my hip line that I'm going to draw out now. So next, I'm still going to place my tape at that 16.5 inches above and then mark my skirt length, which is going to be 35 inches, okay? And then I'm going to repeat the same measurement so that I can have a straight line. You all know me, I always do that because if you don't repeat your measurement twice, you will end up not having the line accurate, okay? So please always mark twice before you connect it, okay? So once I'm done with my vertical measurements, so the next thing now we are going to be working on horizontal measurement, which is my round waist and my round hip. So I'm going to start placing my waist here at the second line, not the upper line, okay? So my waist is 28 divided by 4 is 7 inches plus 1 inch dart allowance, okay? And my hip is 39 divided by 4 is 9.75, but I approximate it to 10 inches. So the next now, I'm going to add 1 inch to my round hip circumference divided by 4, which I approximated to 10 inches. So I add 1 inch to that 10 inch, making 7 inches. And then I mark it at my hemming line, okay? Now I'm going to connect this. So that 1 inch that I added is to create the A-line skirt, okay? To create the A-line shape. If you want yours to be more wide, then you can add like 2 to 3 inches to get your A-line shape well, okay? So next I will find the midpoint here, which is 4 inches when you divide it by 2. So I'm going to repeat the line there at my hip line so that I can have a straight line, okay? So from my hip line, I'm going to mark 2 inches above. So the remaining measurement or the remaining space is going to be the length of my dart. So that is the easier way to determine the length of your dart, okay? So I'm going to mark 0.5 inch on both sides like you see me doing, and then I'm going to connect it like that. So next, what I'm going to do, I'm going to drop my center front with 0.75, okay? So I mark 0.75 right there, and then I'm going to connect it. So now that I'm done from the front, so the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to add 1 inch joining allowance, okay? So, and then I'm going to connect it. So the next thing now, we're going to move back to the front, to the back pattern. So from the waistline, I mark 1 inch for zip allowance. From the hip line, I mark 1.5 inches. So the reason I mark 1 inch is because I want to eliminate any bush that is going to be from the waistline, okay? And then from the hemming line, I mark 1.5 inches also. And then the next now, I'm going to connect it. So the hip line also is 1.5. The hemming line is also 1.5. So I will connect all these dots to create my zip allowance. So I'm going to label it my back zip allowance, okay? So now that we're done from the back, so the next thing now we're going to work on the band, okay? So as you can see, the band, there is a shortage from the center back, okay? So what you're going to do, when you're going to cut out or create your band, so you're just going to minus 2 inches from the actual waistline, you're going to minus 2 inches from there. So I'm going to start not from the zip allowance, but from the center back, okay? So, and then I'm placing it from the actual waist, okay, where I mark my 7 inches, okay? So from that 7 inches, I minus 2 inches away from the 7 inches. So the total width I have from the back left is going to be 5 inches, okay? So, and then I'm going to connect it like so. I minus 2 inches from the center back, okay, to create that half band. I don't know if you understand this. Anyway, when I'm going to cut it on the fabric, I will explain to you more. And so I'm going to mark 5 inches right there so I can connect it so you can see the band clearly, okay? Anyway, this is not necessary though, but just for you to understand what you need to know, how you need to go about the band, that is why I'm doing this, okay? So here is my center front and the inner line is my center back, okay? So basically that is it for the back the band I was trying to talk about. So now I'm going to just extend all this line out. I add 1.5 inches for the hemming allowance, and also I trace out the back pattern out, okay? So this is my back pattern. So now let's work on the front. So like I said, the front does not have that, so I'm going to minus 1 inch away from my waistline here so that I can get my front pattern out. So remember to minus the 1 inch away from the front line so that you don't end up have excess pieces, okay, or excess fabric on your skirt. That is the front part, okay? So I minus the 1 inch, and then also I replace back the sewing allowance which I add 1 inch earlier, okay? And then the other light line I don't need it, and the dart I don't also need it, okay? So it's time to cut out all the unwanted parts that I don't need from the front. So please pay attention and see the part where I cut out, okay? So this is my front pattern. So now here is my back pattern. So from the center front, I went up with 0.5 inch for my back. I raise it up with 0.5 inch, sorry, and then I'm going to cut it out also like this. So this is my front pattern and this is my back pattern. So here is my Ankara print. I have 2 different Ankara prints here, and this is 100% cotton, okay? So because of the purple color that I have on this very one that I'm holding, so I decided to just play around with the colors. So that is why I use this purple on the upper part and also this one from the lower part, okay? And how many yards I use on this dress total is 2 yards, okay? So this is the ring that I'm going to use for my dress, okay? So this is the ring I use, and the width of this ring is 2 inches, okay? So I'm going to start by cutting. I'm going to place my back pattern on my fabric, and then I'm going to cut it, okay? So from the upper part, I'm going to add my joining allowance, which is 0.5 inch, so that I will join my band together, okay? So this is the back pattern that I'm cutting out. So the next is my skirt pattern. I add a 0.5 inch from the upper part to join my band together. So guys, the next we're going to work on the upper bodies. I have a total width of one yard here, okay? So I divide it into 2, which is 18 inches, and that is the width of my half of my bust circumference, okay? Half of my bust circumference is 17, and then I add 1 inch to fold in the side, okay? And then the length here is still 45 inches, okay? The length is still 45 inches. It's only when I'm going to tie it first before I will take out the actual length for my half bodies, okay? So guys, so this is my waistband, okay? And the width is going to be 4 inches. I will trim off the excess, so I will have a total of 4 inches, okay? And I have 2 pieces here, my main piece and the lining. Okay, so the length of the band here is 26 inches. My actual waist is 28. I minus 2 inches away, okay? Because of the back is not completely, it's not up to the center back, okay? So I will use 1 inch to fold in my ring, and also, yes, I will use 1 inch to fold in the ring just the way you see me doing, okay? So that is why I allow it to get to the 26 inches, okay? So that is it for the tutorial. I hope you learned something new from this channel today. If you do, please do give this video a thumbs up. Help me share this video. If you are yet to subscribe, please subscribe, and don't forget to turn on your post notification, okay? Thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the sewing tutorial in next video, okay? So this is the outcome of it, what I have done with the dress. So this is how it's looking like. So I will show you the sewing tutorial in my next video, okay? So stay tuned.